Hello everyone, this is Kevin, your Aptrepreneur, and we are doing another podcast-style video. However, as usual, the images on screen are very important, so don't just turn this on and listen to it on your way to work. Although, maybe I'll give enough information that I guess it's possible. I don't know. I gotta get back to my regular video making. I can't believe I actually miss being on camera. It's a strange feeling, but alright, anyway, but the topic of today's video is whether or not Lyft does the same underhanded deeds and price maneuvering that Uber does when they do their upfront pricing. Because we know that Lyft does upfront pricing like Uber does. They do. And, you know, I always state whenever I criticize Uber for their upfront pricing and charging more and then not sharing with the driver, I always ask myself, or I make it a point to say, I'm certain Lyft does something very similar. They just haven't gotten caught doing it. And I commented in my video, yeah, I'd like to do a video on that, but it's a little bit harder to do that because Lyft, well, here's the thing. Lyft doesn't keep the meticulous records about pickup and drop-off locations that Uber does on the driver apps. I mean, they will let you know the trips, the distance, and they will show you like a map of where you went. But the exact addresses they're just not as detailed. So, unlike Uber, where I can go on their app and find out exactly where the trip began and exactly where it ended, I can't do that with Lyft. Although, again, the map means I can more or less guess. But if you're trying to present solid evidence of something, you need something a little more solid. And I kept going like, well, shoot, unless someone gets picked up someplace at an address that I am super, super familiar with and know off the back of my hand, I guess this isn't going to work. And it has to be a ride that has no prime time. And for the sake of the experiment, it would help if the person didn't tip. So I didn't think this was going to happen, really. But, wouldn't you know it, my neighbor got a Lyft at one day. Or one night, I should say. Yeah, one night. And when we got to the destination, they gave me a cash tip. They didn't tip on the app. So I knew exactly where this ride began and exactly where it ended, or at least what street. And it's like, okay, I could do a fair comparison. Now, let's show one image. This is what the request Lyft screenshot looks like, requesting the ride from my house, or really my neighbor's house, to the destination that I had taken them. And, of course, any sensitive information has been blocked out, of course. I mean, whether or not you consider that obstruction of justice, you know what? In a court of law, I actually have the unaltered documents and they can view them. You're just going to have to trust me on this. But as you can see, the upfront pricing, they are charging $9.83. That is their upfront pricing, with the note that it could be charged a little differently should, well, basically the ride take longer. That's basically why they would do it. Now then, here's the question. What did I actually make on that trip? Oh boy, look at that. The ride earnings was actually more than the upfront pricing. Now, I need to, of course, pause and I need to explain why it's a little bit more expensive. You see that little gray line that goes up all of a sudden? It's because the passenger wanted to make a side stop. So I think I picked up some liquor or something for them. Basically, yeah. That's what it is. So that added a couple miles. I'm going to say 3.5 miles to the trip. Thus, the trip was a little bit more expensive. But as you can see, if you took those miles out, the like if you subtracted like say $3 or $4 from this total, it's very, very, very close to what the upfront pricing estimate was when you requested the Lyft. Which means no, Lyft is not doing the same thing Uber's doing. In fact, whatever the passenger agrees to pay, minus the Lyft fees, you're pretty much gonna get that. So yeah, Lyft is still a much better company in this regard. They are officially not overcharging the passengers. I want to repeat that. They are not overcharging the passengers. And guess what? It works exactly the same as the Uber app. It has more features than the Uber app. You can schedule rides much better. The scheduling rides, by the way, work so much better on the driver's side with Lyft, where I can see rides that are scheduled and I can select rides to pick people up on, so that people actually are committed to picking you up. There's a tip option. Why are people using Uber? This actually needs to be shared. This video, it needs to be shared. Share my Uber upfront pricing video and then show them this. Uber charged an additional $8 for their little trip. Lyft, the only reason the Lyft ride here costs more money is because we made a side trip. If they didn't make the side trip, guess what? That $9.38 or whatever the heck it was, that's what you would have paid. That's pretty much what you would have paid, minus any tip or anything you wanted to leave. So Lyft is definitely being much, much, much more honest about their pricing than Uber is, and they are not price gouging customers in the process. Of course, Lyft is also profitable, or they're very close to profitability, so maybe they don't feel the need to steal money from their customers to offset $4 billion worth of losses every year. I don't know. So anyway, all right, that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it. What do you folks think? Does this surprise you? I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy these videos, consider becoming a Patreon or buying some swag from the Great Media Universe store. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.